No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
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 Hug the person next to you. Tell them, reclaim the dream. Let me thank all of you that came from all over the country. This is not a rally, this is a march.
All right now.
And we're getting ready to line the streets of Washington by the thousands. Because others marched. We have a different life. But we've got to keep that going so that our children will have an even better life than us. Somebody said, why are y'all marching? Why are y'all rallying? They call us troublemakers. But now the folks that used to criticize us for marching, trying to have a march themselves. We come because the dream has not been achieved. We made a lot of progress, but we still have a long way to go.
Oh, yeah.
I spoke last night at Howard University, and I'm gonna have Brandon come before we leave. And I told the students to don't mistake progress for arrival. I was on a flight from New York to Atlanta. About a half hour in the flight, we ran into a storm. We got into turbulence. The plane started shaking. Plane started dropping. I looked out the window, couldn't see because it was cloudy. For about 15 minutes, we were through a turbulent storm. But after a while, when we cleared the storm and I saw sunshine, I didn't get off the plane. We just got through the storm. We hadn't arrived yet. Just because we got through the storm doesn't mean we arrived. We are still doubly unemployed, black to white. We're not there yet. We're still 4 grades behind in reading and mathematics. We're not there yet. We are still the last hired, first fired. We're not there yet. We are still spending more money bringing democracy to capitals overseas when we don't have democracy for the citizens of Washington, D.C. We're not there yet. So when we leave here today, we're leaving like they did 47 years ago. We're leaving to say we must have a jobs bill that will close the gap, and those that will not vote for us, we will not vote for them. This is not about a one-day thing. We need to show up. They think we showed up in 08, and they're betting on us not to show up now. But we know how to sucker punch you. We coming out in 10 because we just begun to fight, and we're not going to let you turn back the clock. We need education policies that will close the gap. We're not interested in throwing away our children. These are our children. The new racism is to tell them, don't expect to be nothing. Don't try to be nothing. But I want you to know, I don't care what their background is, they can learn, they can make it, and we're going to fight with all of our strength to raise our children up. children cannot believe the only option is to be a thug and a gangster. Our children can't take off their Malcolm t-shirts and put on Scarface. We didn't come this far to be no gangsters. We're the thinkers, we're the philosophers, we're the astrologers. We know what knowledge is, and we must rise back to the true glory of who we are. We must deal with those corporations that come in our community and make profit, but won't do business. And we're going to deal with the private sector. Just this week we met those black and Latino advertising firms been unilaterally dismissed by a company called Burger King. We don't have to have a Whopper. If you can't do business with us, then you take your Whopper somewhere else. And we're going through Burger King in the private sector and deal with those that won't deal with us. But let me say this, because there's some confusion. And I'm going to say more on the other side, but I want to straighten this out for some of my brothers and sisters in the media.
You better do it. Come on.
There is a story in the Bible where there was some that saw a man named Joseph. Joseph had a coat of many colors, and there were his brothers that were jealous of him. He annoyed them. He bothered them because he kept talking about his dreams. And finally they plotted and killed him and threw him in a pit and said, let's leave him there. They plotted to kill him. They didn't kill him. They thought they killed him. They put him in a pit and said, let's see what becomes of his dream. Well, there was another man named Martin Luther King who came to Washington, D.C. 47 years ago, and he talked about a dream. He left here and went to Birmingham. He left here and went to Selma, and he kept annoying them. He got us the right to vote. He got us the right to public accommodations. They slayed him. And when they put him in the pit, some of us went in the pit and started going on crack and going on drugs and breaking up our families. But don't confuse the pit for a pit stop. Because we coming out of that pit today. Because I'm going to show you what became of his dream. When Dr. King came here 47 years ago, we came on the back of buses. But today we flew in first class. What became of his dream? We couldn't sleep in a hotel. We couldn't use a restaurant coming up 95 North. But now we've got public accommodations. What became of his dream? In '63, they were asking Kennedy to hear them. In 2010, because he went to Selma, we've got an African-American president. What became of his dream? Reverend Al, y'all dream too much, but let me tell you something. If you don't start with a dream, you won't wake up and do nothing. You got to see what's not there and then wake up and make it happen. You got to see what's not there and fight to make it happen. And we're the children of dreamers that saw us here when we couldn't see ourselves. We're the children of dreamers that look biting dogs and fire hoses in the face.